All right, so today for science, we're going to continue in our new chapter, Earth and Sky. It's our new chapter, Earth and Sky. And we're going to talk today about drawing conclusions, okay? We're going to talk about drawing conclusions. So we're going to look at this page. I'm going to read to you what it says, and then we're going to draw conclusions about the weather. That means that we're going to think about what clues there are on this page that help us to know what the weather is like. All right, so I'm going to read it to you and then we'll talk about it. All right. Draw conclusions. What was the weather like here? How do you know? All right, so when you draw conclusions, you try to figure something out by thinking about the details, the things that you already know, right? By looking at this page. So what do you see on the path? What do you see on this path right here? What do you see here? Okay, do you see puddles of water? We see some puddles of water, okay? How could the puddles have gotten there? So how do you think the puddles got there? So it probably rained, right? So you draw a conclusion that because you see puddles, you figured that it rained. That is the way that probably the puddles got there, okay? Now, what was the weather like just before this picture was taken? So just before this picture was taken, what do you think the weather was like? If you see puddles, what do you think the weather was like? Rainy, right? So it was probably rainy, okay? So we can draw conclusions by looking at the information that we have or looking at the picture and finding clues to help us, right? Just like we did. So we can figure that the weather was rainy because we see puddles, and we figured that the puddles got there because it rained. Okay, so now let's turn the page. Let's go to our activity page on the back. Okay, so it says draw conclusions. We're going to draw conclusions again. Okay, it says look at the picture of a place on Earth. So we're going to look at this picture right here. It's a place on Earth. Okay. Now, we're going to circle the picture that tells us what the weather is usually like in this place. So we're going to look at this picture again. We're going to think about what the weather is like there. And we're going to circle one of these pictures to tell us. What do you think the weather is usually like there? So by looking at this picture, we know that there's not a lot of grass on the ground, right? We're drawing conclusions. We're looking at it and we're figuring things out. By looking at the picture, we can tell that it looks dry, right? Not a lot of plants there. There's a snake, not a lot of animals. So we can tell what the weather is usually like. So go ahead and circle the picture that tells you what the weather is usually like in that picture, which is a picture of the desert, right? Okay, so you're going to circle the picture of the weather, and then you're going to take a picture of this and send it to me. Okay? All right, good job, boys and girls.